What's up, AMG? Hey, I wanted to shoot a quick video. I say quick, it'll probably be about 10-15 minutes. I want to go over with you how to access eApps and some little tips and tricks as you're getting started with us. So once you get through the underwriting process, where do you go next, right? And I want to show you guys some examples, and I want to focus this video on virtual sales specifically. And I want to start out by telling you that I would focus on three carriers, right? We got a bunch of carriers that we can use, but I'm going for simplicity. I want to have your three go-to, and I'm gonna add a fourth one in there. Just a heads up, disclaimer. But the three that I'm going to focus on today for phone sales, virtual sales, is going to be CVS, Aetna, Americo, and AIG. And the reason that I picked those three is AIG, the obvious one. You need a guarantee issue. We've got to go, sometimes we've got to go with a guarantee issue product, and that's the product that we're going to use. It's always on the cheaper side. Nobody's going to come in and beat your price. It's pretty easy to navigate. I'll show you how to use it. And then Americo and CVS are kind of neck and neck. If I had a preference, I would go CVS if I can. But Americo's a second follow-up. And the reason that I chose those two is this reason specifically. CVS, when you get to the e-signature process, the e-signature process asks a security question, right? So it might be something like what street did you grow up on? And that is the e-signature for that client, so you don't have to deal with emails. Americo has something similar. They have a text verification and an email verification. So like when you log into your bank account, it'll sometimes send you a security code to your phone to log in if it doesn't recognize that device. Same setup here. So if we're dealing with someone that not very good with technology, but they know how to access a text message, America will be a great option because we can send a verification code to it. And then we can plug that verification into the eApp, and guess what? That's their e-signature. So those are very simple ways to get it, right? And there's going to be other products that we may be using, and I encourage you to, start with these three. Keep it simple. But as you start getting experienced with us, you might need to venture out onto some different carriers, but try to stick with these three for now so it doesn't get too complicated for you. So these are the most simple, and I want to show you guys how to get to the eApps, right? So I'm going to start sharing my screen. And again, at this point, we've already ran through the underwriting portion of the presentation to the client, and now we're on to moving into the eApp, right? So if you go on to the ARC, which hopefully you guys are familiar with by this point, the ARC is our resource center for everything. It stands for Agent Resource Center. It is our everything can be found here. So if you go under the My Business tab and you click on eApps, that is where you will find this page that I'm on. And you can get to any of the carrier pages through this, right? So let's talk really quickly about where to find your writing numbers. I want to point this out too, my carrier writing numbers. So as you get started with us, your numbers are going to be automatically populating. There is a delay. So if you get a writing number, they come through email. Go in here and punch that in. It's a safe place for you to keep all of your writing numbers. You don't have to worry about it. I also keep them on my phone in case I'm not in front of my computer. Just in case, I keep them in a notes section on my iPhone. But this is a really easy way to come and see your writing numbers. Now, when we go to back to eApps, I want to start with AIG. So if we're coming across somebody that's going to be a guarantee issue, meaning they have significant health issues, congestive heart failure, cancer, heart attack in the last year, stroke in the last year, stuff like that, and we'll know this from the quoting tool, we will click on AIG. Now, notice it populates. It brings me into a portal. And I'm already signed in. Let me actually log out so you'll see exactly what it looks like. So if I click log out, it's going to take me back to the page. And this is important. If you have never registered your account profile with AIG, you're going to click on account registration or agent registration. You're going to type in your name, last name, date of birth, phone number, email address, GIWL agent number. That is your agent number with them. Mine is 09SR7. So that's what I would type in there. You will type in whatever yours is. Okay. So check your emails from AIG. You will see that, and then you'll create a password, username and password, and click create. I've already created mine, so I'm just going to go into it. Let me go back. All right, so mine, type in my username and password. Please be right. All right, so it's going to ask me an additional question. Usually it always asks me for a security question, but now it didn't. So that's great. So here I am. I'm on the AIG platform. Now with AIG, even though you've already quoted it, you still got to run a quote. So I'm going to go mail. Let's go 28/1965. All right. Let's say that the coverage amount we selected is 10,000, and let's say that they're here in Florida. So I'm going to hit get quote. When I hit get quote, it's going to populate down below on the numbers. So a couple things to point out about this is the monthly is what we're shooting for most every time, right? Sometimes people pay annually. If so, great, but I don't present that as an option because it seems kind of daunting, 776 versus $64. Okay. And it also gives you options over here. It shows you, hey, if you want 15,000, here's what it would cost you. This is a great opportunity, to really upsell the client, but don't get caught up in upselling the client because a lot of times you'll get them overspending. They won't keep the policy. So if we've talked about this, they're comfortable with this budget. I will click on 64. One other thing I want to point out. Notice how it says premium stops at age 83. So with AIG, this becomes a paid up policy, meaning when this person, and then I don't know how old they are, 1965, but when they reach 83, the payments stop. They have $10,000 worth of coverage, but they never have to make another premium payment. And the policy is in force until age 121. If they make it to 121, they get paid out. And then it's easy from here. We click start application, right? It takes me into this. I acknowledge, continue. Now, AIG, you do have to have an email. So if we're sitting down with a client, we want to ask them, hey, do you have an email? If they do not, ask them if they have a kid nearby or if their child has a email account that we can help them out with. So I'm clicking continue. I'm not going to go through this whole thing. I just wanted to give you guys an idea what it looks like. So I'm going to ask them these 3 questions. Is there any coverage pending? Nope. Is it going to be a replacement? Nope. Are you a U.S. citizen? Yes. And then I'm going to start typing in their information, right? It's a very simple, easy eApp to do here. Always deliver policy electronically or by paper. A lot of people on the final expense side, they like to have the policy in hand, right? And then you'll see down here, e-sign documents now. We're not in person, so we do not click on that. That is highly illegal. We want to e-sign documents via email, right? It's a very simple process. They'll send them an email. They'll get it. They'll sign it. They'll submit it back to you, and then you'll apply your signature. So that's AIG. Okay. Let's go back and let's do CVS now. CVS Health. All right. So it takes me to their page again. I'm going to go to agent login and I'm going to go to the login to broker web portal. Now, if you've never done this, there will be instructions on how in the email that they send you on how to create your profile. So when I get to this page, I'm going to go to Aetna Quote and Enroller version 2. It's going to take me into their portal. And it's kind of a same setup here. It's going to run a quote for me, and then it's going to proceed to the electronic application. So given that it loads here shortly, I will show you guys how this works. All right. Okay, so here we are. All right, so it's going to ask me for a zip code. I'm going to use the one I'm in. 33706 is going to default to Florida. I'm going to type in that same birth date, 1965. So this guy is 57. Effective date. That is when the policy is effective. Okay. That is when the first payment is made as well. I always push for that person to have the policy draft immediately. That way it's in force. If they pass, if I set it for what's today, the 8th, if I set it for the 15th and they pass away between now and the 15th, they don't have coverage, right? So we want to make sure that we set them up. And now one thing that I'll tell clients is, hey, this is how the insurance carriers work. We're going to go ahead and set it up to be drafted immediately. Every month after that, we can select a date. Is there a specific date you want? Now, obviously, if they fight you and they say, hey, look, the money's not in the account, why would you set it up for that? So we'll push it out if we have to. The longer you push it out, the worse it is, right? So let's try to get that thing in force immediately. Mail, have you used tobacco? No. And then I click on view products. All right, with CVS, we use the final expense Ascendo insurance company. So I'm going to click this plus tab. It's going to drop down. It's going to say, what's the death benefit? Let's go with the same thing as the last time, 10,000. All right, I'm going to hit quote. I'm going to go with the preferred level plan, right? So the quoting tool will tell you whether it's going to be preferred or standard. If it's a modified plan, we're going to be bouncing AIG, right? So that's more of on the graded side. AIG is going to beat their price, but hopefully we're getting most people in the preferred state. I never select super preferred plan. Here's why, even if they can get it, right? Because if they do come back and say that they can get the super preferred, I'm calling the client with good news. I can either increase the death benefit to match what they were willing to pay, or I can lower that monthly cost and they get the same amount of coverage, right? So accelerated death benefit rider, I want to add that on. Accidental death rider, I want to add that on as well, right? So I'm going to hit quote. Now, what you'll notice, accidental death benefit rider, what that is that doubles the face amount if they pass away in an accident. A lot of people pass away in an accident. It's an extra $2.89. So if you notice, it's $46.90 without the accidental. With the accidental, it's going to be $49 and some change, right? So I'm going to click add to cart. And this is something that I will talk with the client about. Hey, for an extra $2 a month, I can get you an accidental rider on it. That will double the death benefit. So if you die in an accident, you get $10,000 on the for the face amount, plus you get $10,000 for the accidental plan for $2.89. So your beneficiary will actually be getting $20,000, right? Most people, it's a no-brainer. All right, so I'm going to add to cart. So you see it pops up over here. Now I'm going to click start enrollment, right? I'm going to enter in random name, I'm going to enter mine. Yes, start enrollment. Now this is going to take me into the eApp, okay? It's going to start asking questions. I'm going to ask the client these questions and I'm just going to proceed. See, it'll pop up red if I haven't done anything, right? So there's no way you can make mistakes on eApps, which is the great thing. All right, so that's CVS. I'm gonna go through this the same exact way. Okay. Now let's go bounce over to Americo. Americo, I like their process, right? So I'm gonna click on Americo. It's gonna already have me logged in. Let me click sign out so you guys see what it looks like. It's gonna have this. It's gonna have your username and password. Again, you need to set these things up. If you're an America agent, need to create an agent login, create account here. I've already created one, so I'm gonna sign in. Now it's going to take me into here and I'm going to click on new app. Okay. I'm going to go for Florida again. I'm going to type in the birth date of the client, male, Brandon Manley. All right. And then now you see the options that I have available. Now, most likely we're going to be working a lot of final expense leads. We're going to be going with their Eagle Premier Series. Okay, a couple things I really like about this product. One is once I type in their initial information, so this is my agent number. All right, agent name, it automatically populates. Are you with the proposed insured? I'm going to click no. Okay, I'm going to click next. And then I'm going to go into the insured's information. Is the proposed insured going to be the owner? Most of the times, yes. The only case that it would not be the owner is if the child's paying for it, the husband's paying for it, or whatnot. You just have to enter that information in. But let's say that this person's going to be, I enter in their mailing address, which most likely I already have because it's on the lead. I'll enter in all of this information, right? And then I'll click next on this, which I'm not going to be able to do here. I'm going to go through the initiate underwriting. So once I get to that third phase, I'm about 3 minutes into the app. I'm going through it. I really like this feature. It populates, it'll pop up here in the messages, and it'll tell you based on the RX and MIB report, the client may be eligible for full death benefit. So what that tells me is, as long as they answer all the questions no on the medical questions, they are going to get approved. So I really like that feature of this product. If I can go ahead and initiate the underwriting, let's say that it pops back and there is something in their MIB or RX report, I'm going to quickly bounce back to AIG, right? Because I know there's something that they might not be telling me. There's something popping up funky. Maybe if it's something that was on the borderline with America to begin with, maybe we can get them approved with CVS. But now in my mind, I see that they're not going to get approved for this product. So I'm going to backtrack. I'm going to go back to AIG's product. Okay, so this is really simple. One other thing I want to point out. I encourage you to try these before you talk to clients, right? And another thing I really like about Americo is that they actually have a demo eApp that you can run, and you can see exactly what I'm talking about. So you can plug in your information. Let's say final expense eApp, right? I can click on demo eApp. On the term and universal life products, I can click on demo app. And what that does is that runs you through a mock application. Now, with all of these carriers, you can go through a mock application, just don't hit that submit button. You just go all the way through. Maybe you plug in your parents' information and you see how everything works. Hey, heck, maybe you're writing a policy on your parents, right? You can easily do that. But this will show you how to work through those eApps more in detail. But I just wanted to show you guys how to get to them and how simple it actually is. And if you go to Agent Cafe, you can actually do, like I said, with America, you can demo their eApp. It would be just like a live one. It just won't get submitted, obviously, but it'll take you through the same process. So that's all I got for you guys today. Hopefully this helps, right? I want to make sure that you guys know once you get into the eApp how to do everything, right? So that's most important. And I think you guys, it'll be a lot simpler. The other product that I did want to talk about, which I didn't talk about, but it's if you come across a client who is healthy, right? Very healthy. Let's say just high blood pressure, and they're in their 50s, 60s. Let's say up to 65. I think the product goes up to 70, but let's say up to 65. Mutual of Omaha has a product, and you do have to do a signature via email. But they have a product called the Index Universal Life Express, IULE. So if you got somebody, I was talking to Gavin the other day, and he's like, my dad's 62, perfect health. Which final expense product should I go with? I'm like, you shouldn't go with final expense product. You should go with IULE. Why? Because I can get them more face amount for less cost, right? So if I'm looking at a $25,000 final expense policy, it's going to be more expensive than a $25,000 IULE. Minimum on IULE is $25,000. So it's got to be $25,000 or above. But if you got somebody in that health situation, it just makes sense to go with that product instead of the final expense, because you'll never get replaced. You never have to worry about somebody coming in and beating your price, because they won't be able to find them that product. So for some clients, the final expense side, those final expense products are set up for people of older age who have health conditions. If they're old and they don't have health conditions, like they're 62, like Gavin's dad, and they don't have any health conditions, boom, my mind is immediately going to the IULE. Okay, so hopefully that helps. Mutual of Omaha's policy is the same way. You go right to it. I'll actually share my screen one more time just to show you this. So if I'm going to go Mutual of Omaha, I'm going to click on Mutual of Omaha, imagine that. And I'm going to click on Start New Case. So it'll take me here. And then when I select product type, I'm going to go to Index Universal Life. I'm going to click Find Available Products, and I'm going to select the Index Universal Life Express. Okay. So then it takes me into the actual application, and this is the same as the rest of them. It does require an email, so be conscious of that. And this one does have a HIPAA up front. So we got to send them actually 2 different emails. And then once they sign and submit, you'll also get an email prompting you to sign and submit. So make sure you keep an eye out for that. That's all I got again for this video. Hopefully this helps. Hopefully I didn't take too long. See you guys.